Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to present to you on behalf of the South African Research Association for Early Childhood Education. Today we are hosting a stakeholders meeting with a view to addressing the question, how does sarisi develop a responsive research strategy for South Africa? I am Julietta Harrison, the current president of sarisi. I'll always think it is a good idea to start at the beginning. So how came about? We started in 2011, although we were only formally launched in 2014. 16 representatives from 10 universities attended, and the DHET was also present. We arose from a need to consolidate stakeholders and have a home for academic driving their work and research in ECE. It was also decided that there was a need for specific ECE conferences at both national and regional levels. Our first resolutions included the following: to nominate a task team to explore preliminary ideas, and here I would like to acknowledge Dr. Una Janssen van Rensburg at Northwest University, who coordinated this from 7 universities. A second resolution was to establish a research association that focused specifically on ECE. And thirdly, to develop concrete links with the South African Journal for Childhood Education, funded by the DHET, to provide an outlet for publications in the field. So what role does sarisi play? Sarisi is a research association that promotes research and research development in the field of early childhood education, including teacher education and the development of ECE. We have 3 foci, namely research and development, reporting, and analysis. Our research is aimed at providing improved teacher education and training at our HEIs, as well as providing mentorship, support, and guidance to teachers and practitioners in the field of ECD. Over recent years, sarisi has built capacity by developing their relationships with NPOs and NGOs, as well as other stakeholders in our field. The aims of sarisi: firstly, to provide an academic forum in South Africa for the development and dissemination of research in ECD and ECCE, and it's that second C that is so important, the care of the child. To facilitate, cooperate, and collaborate together, and to work nationally and internationally. To promote very key links between research, practice, and policy. To raise the visibility and status of research in ECD, and to provide valuable resources through conferences, articles on our website, our journal, useful information, and very importantly, network. I think it's appropriate here to pause and look at our journal. And here I would like to acknowledge Professor Albie Henning, who is the editor of this journal and who over the years has given considerable time and skill to mentoring our young academic writers. To date, we have a total of 354 peer-reviewed articles. We have demonstrated a wide range of knowledge in the field of ECE, and South African specific relevant material has been published. This is particularly important, especially for our students who are going forward with masters and PhDs and need to be able to source research material that is relevant to their studies. We've had 4 special issues that are particular to ECE, and we have adopted a developmental approach, nurturing our novice academics along the way. So if we look at some of our achievements, As just mentioned, we have been providing mentorship for novice academics, and this is something we intend to continue to do. We have provided a journal, an outlet for early publications from novice academics. We have provided a very supportive space for conferences. Novice academics know that if they present at a sarisi conference, it is a safe space to present and a good space to get good feedback on their research. We have been in existence since 2011, so we are now in our 10th year. And I think this next bullet point speaks to the reason for our stakeholders meeting. We are continuing to evolve and particularly reflect on where we are at and where we would like to go. We are also pulling together ECE stakeholders to strengthen our collaborative effort. Let's look a little bit at our committee, our expertise, if you like. At this point in time, we have 20 committee members, and amongst them we have 10 professors and 9 doctors, and a total of 317 publications between the committee members. Our committee members are drawn from both the private and government HEIs and the NPO sector. We are very privileged to have the UNESCO co-chair for ECD, Professor Hasina Ibrahim, who will be presenting to you a little later this morning. As noted before, we have the editor of the South African Journal for Childhood Education. We have leaders in research, members from the Peace Project, leaders in transformative pedagogy, and here I'd like to acknowledge my deputy, Dr. Nasima Sheikh, who heads up transformative pedagogy, and across the committee members, many curriculum developers and writers of training materials. So a few questions to consider before I close. Firstly, why are we having this meeting? This meeting arose from the traction that was gained by our annual conference in July. The committee felt that there had been so much excitement around the ECE space and that we needed to channel that into something more productive. This raised the question of how does sarisi develop a responsive research strategy for South Africa? We noted from the conference that there were a number of research groups that were developing and special interest groups that were developing. And here I'd like to acknowledge Linda Bosman, who is going to be presenting a little later today on our SIGs and RIGs, as we call them. We also realized that there is plenty of confusion around the terminology that we use in ECE. We have ECCE, we have ECD, we have ECE, etc. Hence our requesting that you complete the survey so we can begin to understand the relevance of the terms that we use and maybe develop a common understanding. So where to now? We would like to widen our research agenda through our SIGs and RIGs, and part of the purpose of today's meeting is to really unpack that, to gain a better understanding of where is the need, what sort of SIGs and RIGs should we be running, how do we run them, what is relevant to policy and practice. We would like to continue to collaborate with all our stakeholders throughout the sector. Anybody who has worked in ECD knows that it is a multidisciplinary sector and that when we work together, we achieve great things. To develop our mentorship side of things, we would like to look at running more workshops throughout the year. What those workshops will be and how they will be done needs to be unpacked and discussed, and we need to do an audit to determine what the gap is and how we can service our members. We would like to add more resources to our website, and we have some novel ideas that we're going to explore further. But perhaps most of all, we would like to become the leading light for research in ECE. The South African Research Association in Early Childhood Education will seek to be a leading voice for ECE, invested in improving the well-being, early education, and holistic developmental potential for all children from birth to 9. The association will serve as a catalyst for research in ECE and intends to provide a platform supporting knowledge creation in ECE. It also is committed to becoming an inclusive, collective, and critical voice for the ECE field. So without further ado, I welcome you all to today's proceedings. We have many keynote speakers lined up, and I would like to thank each and every one of them for giving of their time so generously. We look forward to hearing your presentations and having rich discussion after each one of them. Thank you very much.